Hey guys, my name is Steph. I have bipolar disorder type 1 with mixed episodes and psychotic features. What that means is I have extreme mood changes from high to lows. My illness is managed with medication, and about 4 years ago, when I was finally properly diagnosed and put on the proper medication, I was able to start living my life. Prior to that, I really suffered and I really struggled. I was misdiagnosed repeatedly, and I was also terrified to take medication. The thing about bipolar disorder is that you can think that you are totally fine. The main symptom is you don't know that you're sick. But before I go into that, I just want to say, if you are somebody that is here because you have a family member or a loved one with a mental illness, thank you. You are awesome. You are doing the number one thing that you can do to support someone who is sick with a mental illness, which is learn about their disorder. I'm not a doctor. I'm not someone that can give medical advice. I am just someone who has experienced this illness. I can tell you, and I've said in my other videos, when someone is lashing out at you when they're sick, it doesn't necessarily mean that what they're saying has any real truth or feeling behind it. What I mean by that is, somebody in my family told me, well, if she was, they said, well, I used to think, if you said something, then that must have meant how you really feel. And I said, no, no, I was delusional. I thought you were trying to kill me. No, whatever I said came from a place that doesn't exist. I was out of my mind. So yeah, when people have a mental illness, they can become very aggressive. They can become violent. They can cheat on their spouses. They can be verbally abusive, you name it. It's extremely, extremely painful disease for the person who has it and for everyone around them. And a lot of doctors would recommend, if you have someone who is sick and they are not getting treatment, you should go to counseling. You should join a group like NAMI, which is a support group for people with loved ones who have mental illness. I've been on both sides of the equation. I do understand the feeling of feeling completely helpless, and being terrified for a loved one and feeling like there's nothing you can do. The only thing that you can really do is not give up on them, and to keep trying and to keep telling them that you love them. That's what you can do. You can try to talk to them when they are not in an episode, and you can try to tell them, hey, there's help for this. Would you consider going to a doctor? Okay, Google, stop. Gotta walk the dog. You can try to convince them to see a doctor. You can try to convince them to take medication. The thing about bipolar disorder is why it's so confusing for me, particularly. I had an episode at 16. I got better after the episode, and then I had a very long period where I wasn't sick. It wasn't until I turned 28 that I had another severe psychotic break. So what I thought was that, hey, they're wrong. I don't really have a mental illness. I just had a nervous breakdown because of everything that was happening in my life. So that's what a lot of people tell themselves. And a lot of people, I really hate saying this because I don't necessarily think that this is true, but a lot of people will say that people intentionally don't take their medication because they like feeling that high feeling. That's not something I ever experienced, so I can't really speak to that. A lot of doctors will say that. My psychiatrist has said that to me. I do know that artists, for example, like Kanye West, he uses his illness to be creative because it does enhance creativity when you're in another place mentally. The purpose of this video, though, is to tell you that there is help. There is help. And I'm going to do a whole nother video because it's kind of in-depth topic, but somebody recently said to me that taking medication sounds like a catch-22. It's not. And I'll explain why. I'll put the link down below for the next video if that's something you're interested in looking at. But I just wanted to tell you, if you have a family member or someone that you love who's suffering from this, just don't give up on them and keep telling them that you love them, and don't try to shove treatment down their throat, because a lot of times the more you try to get someone to do something, the less they want to do it. But you can keep trying. You can keep gently telling them, I think you need help. However, you can't really diagnose someone unless you're a doctor. There are so many different mental illnesses that look similar or the same, like borderline personality disorder and bipolar disorder. And sometimes people can have both. Sometimes people can have multiple mental illnesses. My advice, I've said on this channel before, if you are someone who thinks you might have a mental illness, go to a doctor, have them diagnose you. It might take a few visits before they can diagnose you, and then go to another doctor and get a second opinion. I've been misdiagnosed so many times, mismedicated so many times, that if I had just keep going to the doctor, maybe it would have helped. Fortunately, they know a lot more about mental illness nowadays than they did when I was younger. But yeah, that's my advice. Hang in there. If just whoever you are, if you're watching this, obviously you got issues like me. So hang in there. All right. Take care, you guys.